games, and gaming's experience. These are the episodes of the Gamer's Frontier to boldly talk gaming into your ear. These are the Gamer Men.
Hello, I am Kyle, aka Firestorm.
And I'm the Earth Nerd Mike, and welcome to this episode of the Gamer Men. First port of call, Kyle has a bit of information on the game situation.
Yep, game has finally been bought out by the same company that does Comet, I believe you said, Mike.
Yep.
Yeah, and a little side note, HMV and Game have both brought back their card system. So if you got points on your card, now's the time to spend it before you lose it, because you don't know how long this is going to last.
Well, from the sounds of it, I think Game has been rescued. They're just having to re-strategise what they're going to be doing. So it's going to be a case of just pre-owned stuff for a little while till they can get things up and running. From what I read online, I think Game has been bought effectively for £1.
Yeah, that cracks me up every time. £1.
£1. By the time they paid off all the debt that they owed, I think EA was one of the ones that they owed a lot of money to. They basically turned around and went, right, we've paid all your debt off. There you go. There's your £1 for the name of Game, basically.
Yeah, the hard-earned company. Here's a quid.
Yep. Game Station obviously is no more. They've sold all that off and it's been wrapped up. I don't know what's happening with Gameplay, but I do know that Game is going to be trading in capacity of online, and it's definitely going to be trading store-wise with basically with the pre-owned stuff. I don't know if they're going to be getting new stuff in as of yet.
No, I think all the pre-owned stuff now is just mainly through Play.com.
So, but yeah, basically, just in a nutshell, Game and HMV road cards are reactivated. So if you've got them, my advice would be, as Kyle said, spend it rather than lose it. Another item on the list that we have on our screens, which you can't obviously see, is the Ghost Recon Future Soldier. Now, everybody has been waiting for the beta coming out of the multiplayer for 2 years now, I think it is.
Yeah, 2 years.
Splinter Cell Conviction came out, and part of the reason for having that was a lot of people actually bought that game to get early access to the beta for Ghost Recon Future Soldier. Ubisoft have now turned around and said that the beta is going to run from the 19th of April until the 2nd of May on both the PlayStation 3 and the 360. This will let 12 players choose from 3 classes: Rifleman, Engineer and Scout, and access 2 different game modes. One game mode is called Conflict, which you battle out to complete various objectives around a game map. And the other one is Saboteur, which basically is locate the bomb and then detonate it in your opponent's headquarters. Both these modes are going to be playable on 2 maps, Pipeline and Mill. No idea what these look like, because I've not seen any screenshots of them.
I haven't heard either, so...
Well, as much as
unknown.
I know that the whole thing with Ghost Recon Future Soldier, you've got the active camo on it, but I think they've done that with the maps, because we can't actually see them. I haven't seen any screenshots of it. But yeah, basically, if you don't own a copy of the Splinter Cell Conviction on the Xbox 360, which you pick up for around about £5 now, if you haven't already got it.
Yeah, go on Amazon, you'll pick it up for a £5 or less.
You can go to pre-order, obviously not with Game, pre-order Future Soldier for a key. That will enable you to get onto it. One of the other things, obviously, Ubisoft have also announced is what's called Ghost Recon Network, which is a companion service that lets you track your stats and connect with other players via smartphone, tablet or a web browser. Makes you wonder, is everybody going to be coming out with this Call of Duty Elite, Battlefield Battle Log? Now we've got this game, Ghost Recon Network. Are they doing that with every single
It seems like it. Well, Battlefield they've got their own. Well, I don't know whether they've got their own version, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be that far behind if they haven't.
What, Battlefield? It's the battle log.
Oh yeah, well yeah. Sorry, get confused there.
But yeah,
we all know Modern Warfare 3's got that, which is just appalling because when it first started off, okay, it's free, but it doesn't work, and even when you pay money for it, it still doesn't work.
Yeah,
so
a lot of people have been kicking off because they haven't been getting these videos that they were supposed to have been getting, and it's basically a pain in the backside, basically.
yeah.
So basically, but this Ghost Recon Network is going to be launching in tandem with the game on the 25th of May. Though anyone in the beta will get early access to a few of its features, the PC version of the game follows a few weeks later on the 15th of June. So that's I'm certainly looking forward to Future Soldier. I mean, I was addicted to Grow 2 when that was out. That's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2.
Warfighter, yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely one of those ones that you need to keep your eye out on. They've gone more down the route for co-op on it than ever before. So you could have 4 players, 4 of your mates, 3 of your mates could be playing with you at the same time, and you can coordinate on how to take things out and things like that. So it does look pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well,
another bit of good news though, mate, is Mass Effect DLC. Obviously for Mass Effect 3. It's called the Resurgence DLC. Apparently it's coming out on the 10th of April and it's free. So
that'd be nice.
Any DLC that comes out and is free, I would still grab it because obviously it's it's definitely worth getting.
Well, I have to say the what is it? Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City.
Yep.
That has got free DLC coming out on it. I've forgotten when the date is for the free DLC, but that has also got some free stuff available to you.
It makes you wonder if the developers are now starting to, and publishers are now starting to listen to the actual gamers with regards to the price on content and stuff like that. I mean, the pack for this Resurgence DLC adds 2 extra maps, Firebase Condor and Firebase Hydra, new unlockable weapons and a handful of additional playable characters including Asari Justicar, Batarian, the Geth and a Krogan Battlemaster. It'll be available from the 10th of April on Origin and Xbox Live and a day later on the PlayStation Network.
Yeah, I have seen some looks into this and some views from loads of different websites about what it's going to give you and the characters and seeing the characters. I haven't actually played the game, so I can't tell you in depth all about it, but DLC looks good.
I've spent more time playing the multiplayer on this, to be honest with you. I haven't actually. I think the week of Crash Course in Mass Effect 2 kind of sort of wore me out, so to speak. So it's one of those things. I think we need to look at a future day. I mean, I haven't finished playing Mass Effect. I've been fiddling away on a few other things like building maps in Halo Reach and picking up Time Shift for £3. I've been blitzing through that.
Yeah. Which I've done the same thing as soon as it arrives. Well, I will be doing it anyway.
So, and moving on, we were having a bit of a laugh at this earlier on. A US state of New York has banned convicted sex offenders from all gaming networks, including Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, and Battle.net. So, I think that's a really good idea myself, because obviously...
well, you say that, but you know that whole sentence of the devil makes work for idle hands? Well, let's face it, these guys are sex offenders, and you're taking away the one enjoyment that they've got. What's left, I wonder,
I thought the one enjoyment that they would have had would have been their hand.
Well, besides that.
But yeah, a report by GameSpot, the state's Attorney General, Eric T. Schneiderman, yesterday announced that 3,580 online accounts have been closed or had communication privileges cancelled. Microsoft, Sony, Blizzard, EA and Warner Brothers, Disney and Apple all cooperated with the purge, which follows on the heels of a recent court case in a state in which a 19-year-old pleaded guilty to abusing a 10-year-old he met on Xbox Live. I mean, it makes you sick to think people actually do this sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a sad world, mate, but unfortunately that's the stuff that happens.
Well, according to this, New York law demands all convicted sex offenders to hand over any email addresses and online aliases to help limit their access to vulnerable web networks. However, this is the first time it's been invoked in relation to an online gaming.
Well, the thing is, what's stopping them from making a new account?
Exactly.
I mean, PSN is legendary for that. I created 3 or 4 accounts that has no ties to me whatsoever. I just wanted more accounts for playing different games on, you know.
And what blokes were you chatting up on it?
No, it's just that it's to counteract all these people that say on PSN, "Oh, I'm going to hack your account." Well, yeah, go ahead, hack that account. It's not active. It's got nothing to do with me. It's just a name. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we did have a bit of a giggle about that, you know. It's not something that you would generally read on a regular basis. It is something serious, because obviously, you know, sex offenders, and I mean, I've got a kid myself, so obviously, you know, that has to be taken seriously. Because I mean, how many people do you know that they talk anything? I mean, it's the same thing with the second somebody finds out the person that they're playing with is a female gamer, you know, you get all sort of graphic abuse thrown over it at somebody, even if the female gamer is absolutely annihilating whichever lad that it is. Do you know what I mean? It is just sad and pathetic that people actually sort of do these sort of things. And mind you, speaking of sad and pathetic, I think the Wii U's not going to be doing as well as what Nintendo hoped, or well, its latest reports on it are basically that it's not as powerful as what Nintendo initially said it would be. Apparently it's not as powerful as the PlayStation 3 or the 360. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Why put out such a poor spec machine? You know, it's especially given the way that the GameCube and Wii U performed. Yeah, fair enough. It might have had some fantastic games on it, and it's all about the gameplay. But these days, to get people interested in your game, you need to have some.
You need HD graphics and decent gameplay and a smooth processors. You know.
I mean, a picture tells 1,000 words, and if you look at any of the Nintendo's games, they're all still sort of. I think Nintendo need to mature. They still seem to be stuck back in sort of like the Mega Drive and Super Nintendo era, which would have been roughly when I was about 12, 13, and you know, it's a case of you know, grow up, get with the times, Nintendo. You know,
make an adult system. You know.
Well, no, not necessarily adult system. I mean, you know, the
but a more grown-up system.
The need to take into account that the bulk of gamers these days is not 14 to 15 like they used to be. They are now grown men with children of their own. Yes, fair enough, build games that are great for families and stuff, but they need to mature and put more mature games out there, and stop going on with yes, fair enough, being innovative is good, but they need to listen to gamers as well. You know, I mean, to date, apparently the Xbox 360 controller has actually been voted the best controller to date. The most innovative controller to date, though, was the one from the Nintendo 64, because it was the first one with the analog. It was the first one with the rumble pack. It even had the memory. Did it have a memory in that, or was that what you would have to put into the system?
I think it had a memory inbuilt to it, mate. I'm not 100% sure.
You either had the rumble pack or the memory pack went into the same slot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was it. But yeah, I mean, the Nintendo have always been one of the ones to push the the boat out type of thing to get something new. I mean, they were the first ones to put start and select on the controller. They were the first ones to do analog. They were the first ones to do 6-button controller. When Sega was doing 3 buttons, they were the ones that brought out the Rumble Pack. That had the idea of the Rumble Pack. That had the idea of the memory pack. They brought all these out. Yes, fair enough. I understand the PlayStation had the memory card, but at the end of the day, Nintendo has been more innovative than any other console. I mean, not necessarily console, but any other company. If you look at every other company like Sony, they played it safe. They did with the PlayStation 2, they tried to play it safe with the PlayStation 3, I think, but they kind of balls that up by putting far too much new technology into it, costing it normal like to be able to purchase it.
Causing it to crash and make all sorts of havoc and
not just that. I mean, it does look like it from George Foreman Grill, which
Oh,
I've seen a video of somebody actually converted a PlayStation 3 into a George Foreman Grill, which I found pretty highly amusing.
I've seen pictures of that. Yeah, that was brilliant.
Going back to just to quote someone, Nintendo's told Yahoo's Digital Trends, we do not focus on technology specs. And there's a quote from a developer which has said of Nintendo's first high definition home console, it's not up to the same level as the PS3 or the 360. The graphics are just not as powerful. Which begs the question, what is Nintendo doing? Do you know what I mean?
Good question indeed, because they've got a lot of new technology out there. I mean, look at the smartphone that's been developed in the past year.
Yeah,
that's a cracking bit of technology. Now, why can't they incorporate something along those lines into a gaming system?
Well,
something hyper technology, something really innovative.
It looks like Nintendo's basically took the idea of the Apple iPad and just stuck a controller with it.
Yeah, exactly.
With the new controller for the Wii. One of the things I've got to mention, though, that I do like about the Wii U is the fact that if your mother wants to sit, or obviously if you have a girlfriend and whatnot, if you're lucky enough to have one, or your wife, or wants to watch the soaps like Coronation Street and EastEnders, you've got the you can still play on the games on the Wii U because it uses the on-screen, the screen and the controller as the screen for the system if the TV channel has to be turned over, so you can actually continue gaming. Or you could go and play
I do like that
room.
feature. It seems to be a very good, innovative feature. Just that one function of looking down at your controller and still being able to use your gaming system.
Exactly. Mind you, they've got Darksiders 2 coming out as a launch title, which was great. But it's on par with the current generation of consoles. So it's pretty much going to be the same as the 360 and PS3 versions.
Yeah, and PC, I would imagine, as well.
Yep, and PC. I forgot it was coming out on that. It's just obviously with PC gaming obviously not being as popular as what it used to be.
It's still popular, but a lot of people now do tend to stick towards the Xbox or the PlayStation or the Wii, as we've known.
Yeah. But yeah, on top of talking about launch titles, I don't know if you remember the Xbox 360 had a launch title game called Prey. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I do remember it. I never played it, but I do remember it.
I had it, and I completed it on the hardest setting on the first gamer tag that I had before my several gamer tags later, after each one screwed up. I have no idea what the hell happened there, but yeah, I had the had Prey 1, or Prey as it was called, and I thought it was quite an interesting take on sort of like first-person shooters. The only problem was I kept getting motion sickness of it. Because obviously you can walk up walls, walk upside down, and everything spins around and everything. It did give me motion sickness. So
Can you imagine playing that on whatever games console that's in your car? That would make you throw up. That really would.
I don't get motion sickness in the car, believe it or not.
No, but that wouldn't help, would it?
Well, it wouldn't. No, I mean, if I'm driving the car, it says 30 mile an hour. I do 30 mile an hour. If there's nothing coming on the roundabout that I can see coming up, I just put my foot down a bit more and
go over it.
Go round the roundabout at 30 miles an hour. I don't know why. I have this habit of gently drifting the car. So it's only ever so slightly, but burnout paradise and stuff that will happen to you. So, but yeah, that has been cancelled, unfortunately. Which obviously, the latest reports that we're getting is that it's been reported
as cancelled.
Yeah, I mean, it's an inside source that said this, so there's no
concrete evidence yet.
Although saying that, there was supposed to be a presentation at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco earlier this year. I think it was back in the last month, but it was cancelled a few weeks before the show got underway, which obviously would add a bit of confirmation to it. And whatnot. So it'd be interesting.
It does give you something to think about if they can't.
They've actually decided to decline to comment on it.
Exactly.
But it could be that you might see Prey 2 at this year's E3. They might have decided to put it under wraps. You don't know. So, which obviously would be interesting to see if it still goes that way. Although it was completely different to what was there. Speaking of Bethesda, they've released the Elder Scrolls Skyrim 1.5 update now. It's now live on the Xbox. It's been live on the PC. It's now live on Xbox Live, and it should be on the PlayStation Network as well. Obviously, it has some new kill moves and animations for melee weapons, as well as cinematic kills for cameras and projectile weapons and spells.
Love that game. Yeah, absolutely love that game.
And obviously, it fixes general bugs like general crashes, fixes, and memory optimizations. There's any amount of things. It's like arrows and other projectiles that were stuck in objects in the world now cleaned up properly. Fixed a rare issue where the sanguine rose would not work properly. The continuing to.
Hopefully they've taken out that stupid joke about an arrow in the knee. That joke that seems to be going around.
Yeah, well, that wasn't any good though, was it?
No, but it's one of them that turned into a bloody viral,
Oh yeah, I mean, there's not an awful lot that you can do about that, though, is there? Apart from fix a bug.
What a stupid thing, but hey ho.
But talking of Skyrim, we decided that Skyrim would be the review of the week, even though it's been out since October or November, beginning of November, end of October last year. So just a brief,
slow to catch up.
Yep, just a bit of a brief recap on it. It's the next chapter in the Elder Scrolls saga, which reimagines and revolutionises the open world fantasy epic, bringing a life to complete a virtual world open for you to explore any way that you choose. The legendary freedom of choice, storytelling, and adventures of the Elder Scrolls is realised like never before. Dragons long lost to the passages of the Elder Scrolls have returned to Tamriel, and the future of the Empire hangs in the balance. As a Dragonborn, the prophesized hero with the power of the voice, you are the only one.
Are you shouting at someone?
Yep, like your mother. Are you sure she's not in the game? You are the only one who can stand amongst them. My initial thoughts are it looks absolutely outstanding. I rented this because personally I didn't like the previous Elder Scrolls games.
The previous Elder Scroll, it was very, very good. I enjoyed it, but it did leave a sort of a nasty taste in your mouth. Because when you look at stuff like Fallout, it's along the same lines. All it is a version of history based, if you know what I mean. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
still, it's
I
still,
mean, one of the things that intrigued me with this one was the fact that you can build your character up whichever way that you wished. Instead of picking at the beginning of like the previous game, Elder Scrolls games, you picked a thief, you had to go through as a thief all the way through. You picked a
Yeah.
warrior, you had to play as a warrior all the way through. I played 40 hours worth of this in the first week because I'd torn the tendon in my ankle. So I wasn't at work at the time when it was released. Luckily for me. So I literally sat for 40 hours and in the space of a week playing this, and I just generally played the game. I was a little bit bored to begin with because obviously I didn't really know what I was supposed to be doing. But it does guide you more than previous Elder Scrolls games. Before,
Yeah.
obviously, you can do, to go wherever you want. Now,
the previous Elder Scroll did sort of leave you, well, now you're open into the middle of nowhere and get on with your life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, without giving away too much of the story, it opens up. You're on a cart. You're gonna get your head chopped off, and the dragon attacks the town that you're in. You escape the town with you have your first choice, obviously after naming yourself and giving what race you are, which I would suggest obviously reading about what each perk is for each race before
Take that
deciding.
into account.
I mean, I'm going through as a mage, primarily a mage, but I tend to wield two one-handed weapons now. I dual wield single-handed weapons. Now, I took that into account that I wanted to be a mage, and one of the perks of the Highborn is that you have extra magic points, so to speak, and you have a chant or whatever you want to call it that helps you generate magic 100 times faster than what you would normally recharge it. So my second time through, when I decided I'd played enough, I wanted to go through it a second time without deviating from my initial plan, because what I was finding was one day I felt like playing like a warrior, so I was running around like a warrior. The next day I was playing like a mage, and the next I was trying to sneak, and it just didn't work. I got so far in the game and I just thought, I want to build this up in a specific way. So I started from scratch again and picked the Highborn Elf. Obviously, you escape the main town to begin with, and then you go down to another little village, and it passes you on down to what would be your first major town. And you then go on from there to play your own.
Discover the world.
Discover the world, play your own story out, basically. And that is what I think is possibly quite the best part of this game. The fact that you have this open environment, that you can go off and explore. You'll never have a gaming experience on it that will be identical as the last. I know this from fact because obviously I started the game for a second time after the 40 hours in the first week, and I basically felt like I was playing, for all it was the same game, it felt completely different. So, because
there's so many different ways you can go about it, so many different ways you can build your character. Although the game is exactly the same, it's endless variations.
It's not just that though. I mean, if you think about it, each character, if you play as an elf type of thing, and they're not looked at as too kindly by people will try and avoid you and stuff. Whereas if you're playing as one of the Imperials or something, you'll be able to sell things for more money and stuff like that. So it does affect the way that you can play the game as well. And I mean, I'm only halfway. I think I'm only halfway through it, but I mean, I've only clocked up around about another 40 hours on it, and then Gears of War came out, and I never went back to it. I keep picking it up every now and then, having a quick hour or so on it. But it is definitely one that I would say that is worth picking up. If you're not a massive fan of role-playing games, I would still pick it up from a rental, have a look at it. and see what you think, because you can play it in third-person mode, you can play it in first-person mode. So if you can't play first-person games because you get motion sickness, because I used to have that, believe it or not, although you wouldn't believe it for the amount of first-person shooters I play now, but you can actually play it in a third-person sense, which means you can still enjoy the game.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say now, I started playing the game as an Imperial, which allows you to calm your enemy for some stupid reason. You've got a shout that allows you to calm your opponent, which I would bear that in mind playing as an Imperial, because when you come across a couple of big baddies during the game, if you calm them, then you can whack them with a gigantic sword and
Or a big point
kill them.
stick.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've gone through it as like sort of the thuggish option. I've gone for the Imperial and I'm carrying a whacking great big hammer.
Yeah, well, anybody ever needs a blacksmith, we know where to go.
Yeah.
I mean, mind you, one of the things I would say is never pick on a woolly mammoth, because usually you have two or three of them together with a giant. I accidentally shot a woolly mammoth in the backside, and then proceeded to run away from around about a third of the map, being chased by a woolly mammoth, a giant, and a second woolly mammoth. Needless to say, the giant clubbed us, which clubbed the floor, which seemed to stun us for some reason, and then I got trampled on by a woolly mammoth. So yeah, you do have some quite amusing things.
I do think the most depressing one was when I actually got sat on by a dragon, which it killed me. Funnily enough,
like something as big as that wouldn't surprise me. What would you say is the worst parts about the game? I mean, the good thing about it being open worlded is it means you can build the story yourself. But the other on the same, it's a double-edged sword. If you make it too open worlded, people get lost in it. Whereas, so I think it's its own worst enemy in a respect for it being open worlded as well, because you don't really have too much of a guide to go around things. But yeah, I mean. Good point. One of the best bits, obviously, apart from the graphics, is the storytelling and everything's brilliant, and the open worldness and how easy it is to pick it up and play. But one of the worst things I found was sometimes just finding out where the hell I was supposed to go. Mind you, you do have a map in it.
You might have got a map, but it's still on occasion it still
awkward.
Leaves you wondering where the hell you're supposed to be going and what you're supposed to be killing. Or finding in some cases.
But I mean, obviously they're constantly doing updates. I mean, we want to update 1.5 now, and they're still finding bugs and stuff. So, but I really must pick the game back up. It's definitely a 5 out of 5 for me. I don't know what you think of it, but
I'd definitely give it a 5 out of 5. If not, I'll be a bit scrimpy and give it a 4.5 out of 5.
We don't do 0.5s and stuff on here, mate. It's always either 4 or 5.
Oh, well, gee, everything's black and white, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'll give it a 5 then, shall I?
It's up to you, mate. I would say though, for all I've given it a 5, I would say rent it before you actually buy it, because you may not like it on the basis if you're not that big on RPGs or fantasy games.
Yeah, look into Fallout series. Bear that in mind as an RPG, and also the fact it's nothing like Fallout whatsoever. It's just, what I'm saying is use that as a background to say this is the open world experience that you will be getting into, apart from it's like 3 times better.
Yeah, better graphics as well.
Everything's better.
Even just stepping over the top of a hilltop in that game, it still takes my breath away looking at it and thinking, they're really pushing the boat out on the Xbox and the PlayStation with this game. And a lot of it is they just stream the stuff in rather than pushing it out there for it to pull all the stuff in at once, which means they're not going to get a good draw distance on it. So, One of the bad points as well is I can be looking at something for like 30 seconds, then all of a sudden it spawns an enemy there, you know. I have noticed that that's a bit of a bad point on it sometimes, but not an awful lot.
Oh, the dragons, by the way, do regenerate. If you think you've killed a dragon, if it stood next to one of the big pillars that you get the shouts off, then yeah, you don't have to go back and kill it again, I don't think. If it's just one that's random in the map, it will come and kill you over and over and over again. So it does pay attention to the skies and make sure you've got a bloody big stick to hand.
Great big whacking stick, or in your sense, a great big bloody hammer.
Yeah.
Well, does that not sort of like take you back though? You know, your big hammer. I mean, the first game that actually used a hammer was Donkey Kong. I don't know if you remember, which was Mario's first appearance. So a lot of people don't actually realise it was actually Mario. That was actually in Donkey Kong, and the only reason Mario has a moustache, and this is a bit of useless information for you, is because it was meant to be the gap between his nose and his mouth. He never originally had a moustache. I bet you didn't even know that one.
Why would you want to? What, you know?
I don't know.
Okay, that's the crap bit of the week, yeah.
The bizarre thing of the week. Mario never had a moustache originally. You can just see people are going to be listening to this and thinking, why on earth would you want to know that sort of thing?
Yeah, exactly. It's pub trivia at the best.
It is, you know. Who did not have a moustache in the gaming industry originally? I don't know. Mario? Correct.
Yeah, Mike knows the 1 point answer that might win you the quiz.
Exactly. Well, it does help reading history things on companies like Nintendo. Another thing is, Nintendo never used to be a gaming company. They originally made cards.
Cards?
Cards. You know, like a deck of cards?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, they used to make those. You see, you learn something new every day. Or in your case, you've just learned 2 things today. Hope I haven't pushed something old out your brain.
It's now melting, by the way. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, childhood memories for me, obviously. Donkey Kong is one of them, on the old Game Boy there. You know, it got a re-release on the Game Boy back in the day when, I think I was around about 14 or 15 at the time. Before, the release, before they even released the Daft, not the Daft one, but the Game Boy Advance.
Pause it.
Anyway, to obviously continue what we were saying, because you had to go and answer your phone, gaming childhood memories. Can you remember the first game that you actually played?
Pong. If I remember correctly,
on a system that you owned.
the first system was
Nintendo
64. I think that one was the real one that kicked it all off for me. I did go and have a look at all the other different systems, the ones from previous, the ones from later on. The first game I would say that I really truly enjoyed. Hard to bloody think about it now.
Yeah,
it's just so many of them.
There is. I mean, for me, I can remember, coming in from school, putting the Spectrum ZX on, finding the part on the tape, pressing play so that it would actually play and load the game in, go and do some homework, have me tea, go out and play and come back, have a quick 5 minutes. No, it would be finished. Come back in, have a quick 5 minutes, die, and then have to wait another 15-20 minutes before I could restart the level. Yeah. But obviously we also had a Sega Master System, and one of my earliest memories I can remember is we were down in Basingstoke for the year, a little village called Oatley, and we're sitting, because the Master System used to be downstairs in what effectively was a dining room, and it was right next to a couple of patio doors, and I can remember sitting playing on, I think it was either Alex Kidd in Miracle World, or it was My Hero. Alex Kidd in Miracle World, you'll find out what that is in a few months because it's coming out onto the Xbox Live Arcade. The other one, My Hero, was basically you were a person who knew kung fu or karate or whatever, and you were going some punks run off with your girlfriend, and you're basically the idea is you're going along to try and save her and rescue her. And it's a kung fu version of Mario, except you don't jump on mushroom heads. From what I remember, you used to kick pit bulls and lots of punks, different types. You'd have the ones with guns and knives and stuff.
On a safety note, though, don't go kick a pit bull. It will bite you.
Well, it depends where you kick it. I mean, if you kick it hard enough in the jaw and break its jaw, it can't bite you, can it?
Yeah, but if you kick it up the arse, it's still going to piss it off,
Why the hell would you want to kick it up the arse?
Well, it's the same thing about, kicking a lion in his testicles. It's along the same thing. It's lunacy, but there's someone out there that will do it.
If anybody's actually ever done that, please send us a comment. Tell us.
Yeah.
That'll be amusing to hear what happened. But yeah, I mean... Yeah, and obviously me and my dad we're busy playing on this My Hero game. And this is one of the earliest memories that I've got. And there was this hedgehog, literally, big, huge, fat hedgehog, ran across the garden and passed up the patio door. And obviously, about a year after that happened, Sonic the Hedgehog came out. It's weird. Although, mind you, I could have had a can of spray paint and painted it blue and then took a photograph and gone, "Hey, Sega, give me some money. You stole my idea."
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a spray painting the random hedgehog blue,
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, my first sort of major console that I had, because the Master System was sort of like a family sort of thing, the Spectrum was my first computer, but the Sega Mega Drive, because I had the Mega Drive Plus 2, I didn't have the floppy paddle thing on it for the headphones. I had the Mega Drive 2, as it was called, and games like Mercs was the first game I ever completed. Top-down shooter. It was absolutely fantastic. Another one was Torquay Spitting Ape. If you can pick that one up, that one's a classic.
Well, it is now.
Oh, it is. It was rumoured to be coming on the Xbox Live Arcade. Mortal Kombat, that's another one that I remember playing. Earthworm Jim, I'm a massive fan, hence my gamer tag.
The gamer tag, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've now still got a Mega Drive. I've got all the Sonic games, Sonic 1, 2, 3, Sonic and Knuckles. That way if you plugged Sonic and Knuckles in and then Sonic 3 into the top, you could play Sonic 3 as Knuckles, which was absolutely fantastic. It had never been done before. But saying that, I also have a Super Nintendo as well. Mario Kart, Mario All-Stars, Super Mario World with Yoshi in it.
I remember Yoshi.
Yeah, Super R-Type, I mean, Killer Instinct. I don't know if you remember when... Can you remember that one coming out, or was it a bit before your time?
I think I was extremely young when that came out.
But I mean, Killer Instinct. If anybody's actually listening, please send in your childhood or your early gaming memories from consoles past. Be interesting to see what other people remember playing. I mean. Killer Instinct. I remember there was 6 or 7 of us piled into mine, and we were all playing crowded around the Super Nintendo, sitting playing on a 15-inch TV, portable TV, and playing Killer Instinct. And one of my mates, just being a clever sod that he was, playing as Jago all the time, literally just absolutely annihilating you with the Ultra Combo and the absolutely huge mega. 73 point combo, it was just absolutely ridiculous, But,
You stood no chance at all.
exactly. I mean, even going back as far as say Mortal Kombat 2 was the best Mortal Kombat game that they brought out on the earlier systems. It wasn't until Mortal Kombat that came out last year they went back to the 2D, which made the fighting game. Personally, 3D fighters do not work. It should be done on a 2D. A lot of stuff like platformers and 3D fighting games, they were absolutely fantastic in 2D. But the second you put them into 3D, it became they weren't as effective as what they used to be. Now, Sega hit the nail on the head with Sega Generations. You brilliantly put the calling it 2.5D, which I think is brilliant because it's basically been done in a 3D space, but it looks 2D when you're looking at it. But you have sections in it where you see Sonic running around on a spiral floor that's collapsing or something like that. You know, it's things like that they need to start bringing back into the games. I think.
Brilliant.
Relook at some of the old platformers. Why did they work? Flashback, one of the biggest and outstanding games. You know, people will probably remember these things. I mean, when things went to 3D, yeah, it was great, but it was also quite a lot of things downfall. I mean, first-person shooters and racing games took off in 3D. But it's also left behind sort of platformers and the fighting games, personally, to me, took a back seat. And, you know, you're getting generic first-person shooters and stuff now. You know, the action adventures will always be the same. You know, they'll always be pretty good regardless. And, I mean, I remember when the N64, just getting back onto what you were saying, I remember the N64 being out. The only console I would like to actually repurchase just for Zelda Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, and what was the other one?
Mario's definitely the one on that system. That was a brilliant system. Just for that one game, it made that special.
For me, what made the system special was Zelda. I've never really been a Zelda fan. I've got Zelda Link to the Past on the SNES. But to me, best Zelda game, Touchwood, that's been made so far is Ocarina of Time. I didn't think that much of Twilight Princess, unfortunately. Haven't played the latest one. But I don't know whether or not to purchase myself a 3DS for the Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D.
I played Twilight Princess to death and it was still a bit rubbish.
So, but yeah, I mean, you know, it's great to think of these sort of things going back. And I mean, I've got Sonic on the Xbox and I've got Sonic on the Mega Drive, and albeit Sonic is great, is a great classic game to play, but I've found myself playing on the Mega Drive more than on the Xbox on the basis that it has that old nostalgia feeling. Plus, on the Xbox, you can come off and go and do something else and go back to it because it has a save feature. So I think some of the old games lose out on the fact because the games were so short back in the day, because obviously the space that they had, they
it was still on cartridges though back in the day.
Back in the day, I mean, you turn around to a kid these days and you say, what did video games come on? And they'll tell you, they'll come out on CDs or DVD. Yeah. You know, there might be CDs or DVDs that they'll come out with. And you're like, no, they used to come out with cartridges. What's one of them? Do you know what I mean?
A lump of plastic the size of a brick, you know.
Well, yeah, but it didn't weigh it weighed, you know, less than a game console. It weighs less than the Time Shift game box. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the thing with the old games on the cartridges and games like Pac-Man and stuff was you played through the game, and if you had no more continues, that was it. You had to start the game from the beginning again. which is why Sonic the Hedgehog's, anybody you speak to and ask, name a level from Sonic the Hedgehog, they will come in with Green Hill. Because it's always the first level on the game. That is the most renowned level of Sonic. For all, you know, you had the Labyrinth level, the Marble Zone, Chemical Plant, Casino, the Casino Zone and whatnot on the other ones, and Mystic Cave and stuff on the other ones. The Green Hill or Emerald Hill or whatever hill that they want to call that episode, the one from whatever game it is that they're doing, is always going to be the one that everybody remembers. I mean, to me, they spoil what we used to have when they bring them out on the arcade and let you save the game. You don't play the game from the start. You can save it halfway through and go back to it. And to me, that spoils it, because what is the point in doing it apart from going through it for achievements?
Yeah.
It does spoil it in that respect. If any game developers are listening, don't put a save function into the Xbox Live Arcade games that have been brought in, like Double Dragon, like Sonic the Hedgehog, Earthworm Jim. Also, do Earthworm Jim 2. I want to play that one on the Xbox. I can't find it from the Mega Drive or the SNES.
No.
Don't put the save features into the classic games, because it spoils them.
That were half the fun, though, weren't it? You know, you've got through it, you've done as much as you can for today, you picked it up tomorrow, and you had to do the whole thing all over again.
Exactly. It was a challenge to you every time. It got to the point where I knew exactly what was going to happen. On a certain game, I can't remember which game it was now, but I knew exactly where the enemy was going to be, and how to take this one out, how to take that one out. That's how you learned how to play through the games. It was kind of like remembering where things were.
Yeah.
And the problem is people just don't do that now. It's a case of the games have become that big that it's the games have become that big. They always need game saves. And personally, I don't think they need to do game saves on every single game. It would be nice to start playing some games there. It didn't have to have a game save where you unlocked levels and it gave you a code so that you went back and put the code in, maybe, or something like that, to unlock it. I don't know. It does spoil it a bit though. You have all these sort of game saves and stuff on every single game.
Yeah.
Streets of Rage, perfect example. You don't need a game save for it. It generates one when you play the bloody thing. Bomberman, same thing there. It should just give you everything from the start. Although saying that, Bomberman probably wouldn't be that good. Another game, Micro Machines. That would be fantastic. I don't know if you remember that one.
No, I can't remember that one at all.
Oh, there was around about 4 or 5 different games of it, man. It was absolutely fantastic. Everybody's crying out for a remake of Final Fantasy VII, done in the Advent Children's style. And what I find highly amusing is that the Honor is going on about doing all these HD updates and stuff like that. And there's a mass amount of people that would like Final Fantasy VII to be remade. But obviously, same thing, exactly the same thing. Obviously, there was a few bugs in it, which obviously they would need to sort out. But graphically wise, remake it, bring it back, bring it out with, on the PlayStation, or even bring it out on the Xbox. Although saying that Sony published it, so it probably have a chance to be a Sony only thing. But at the end of the day,
not necessarily.
Well, it was Sony that published it, so they might have the rights towards it, which means it would only come out. But get Square to make that game, and I can guarantee you, people. I mean, I'm not being funny. I would go out and buy a PlayStation 3 just for that one game. You know.
I've got a PS3 and I'm still not. You know.
What are you using it for? Like a doorstop or something?
Currently, it's a dust collector.
Ah, right. You press the button on and it goes, "All dust come to me," type thing, does it?
It might as well.
But yeah, I mean, if there's a topic that anybody that's listening, if there's a topic that you want us to talk about, please get in contact with us. We've got it on a contact form on our website. Website is http://thegamermen.wordpress.com. Obviously sub-hosted at the moment, but hopefully in the future it'll not be. But yeah.
Hopefully he'll be able to introduce you to the final member of the team.
Yeah, he'd gone to a game of football and I think his team must have lost, so he's probably drowning his sorrows.
And by this time the sorrows are pretty damn drowned.
Well, it is Kenny and he is Scottish, so... Not that we've got any problems with Scottish people, of course.
No.
It's just we like to wind Kenny up quite a bit. Obviously, you will find out when Kenny does eventually join us.
That and the nose job.
Yeah.
Priceless.
The general nickname of Pinocchio rings a bell at the minute.
Yeah.
And he knows what we're talking about. But yeah, like I say, if there's any topic that you can think of that you would like us to talk about, please fill in the contact form on the website. We're always looking for new ways and new areas for to look into that we might not necessarily have covered. So yeah, there's not an awful lot left to do. I think we've pretty much covered everything in this episode. Fortunately, we haven't got the release dates.
No,
due to Easter and everything and what's going on, we've misplaced all the release dates that we have, the 6th to the 12th. But we should be back live on the broadcasting on this coming Thursday, which would be what Thursday would it be this week? This Thursday? Can you remember?
I haven't got a clue, mate.
You haven't got a clue. That's brilliant.
I thought that might help you.
Yeah, we're in April, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yes, no, maybe. Right. I think that's going to be Thursday the 12th. So, which would be this coming Thursday. Is it? Yes, Thursday the 12th. We'll be live on Justin.tv, broadcasting live on Justin.tv at around about 9 PM Greenwich Mean Time or British Standard Time or whatever you want to call the thing.
And hopefully we won't make an arse of it.
Well, you mean like last one? Yes.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Bit of luck. We'll be on 9 o'clock on the dot on Thursday, or round about 9 o'clock. Hopefully it will be before that, and I won't have the problems I've been having with Skype with it crashing. Kenny, fingers crossed, will be joining us as well, and
probably still working off the drunken stupor.
Possibly, or either that or ducking his missus.
Either or.
But mind you, Kenny will probably get a kick out the backside when he gets into what we've been seeing on here. So I think we should probably call that it, mate. You know, no more picking on Kenny because he's not here. So yeah, it is amusing some of the banter that we do come up with on Xbox Live. Even though we do have a lot of fun doing these podcasts. It is relatively early for us, so if
I just hope these podcasts are actually useful to people. Yeah. I think that's something that we need more than ever. If you could just send us a message just saying, brilliant, we love it, this is what we would like, you're doing a fantastic job, that would help us out dramatically.
I think we might we'll have to be careful there, because I'm sure you sent you a message. Microsoft might start suing us. Well, we could say send us an email. You know.
Yeah, send us an email or just like thumbs up or something. Do something.
Yeah, And don't forget to always like and share the videos. These are put up on YouTube. Hopefully we will be getting the iTunes thing sorted once we get our own server and everything, own hosting for this. So yeah, anything that you can think of that you would like us to talk about or a topic, please go to the website and put a comment on the post, or put a comment on the post on YouTube, or put a comment on the website. Go onto the contact us page on the website. Send us an email. Tell us what you think of us. Obviously, without all the profanity.
Yeah.
And just let us know what you think of the podcast. Where you think we,
If we're going
where
wrong,
could
tell
go.
us.
We're not necessarily going wrong, but where we going? Where could we go? Apart from into some forgotten lands on Skyrim or something. Just let us know if there's a topic that you would like us to talk about. So yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, release dates on this week's episode, but it should be on Thursday. I'll get me probably finger out my backside. Not that it's up there, but get them sorted so we've got something for next week.
Hopefully, I think that's just about it, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, there's not an awful lot else we can say for this week. I think.
Hope you have a happy time gaming, and see you later.
Yeah, I've been the Earth Nerd, and farewell and have fun gaming.